Trump has doubled down on his promise to release records related to former President JFK and RFK, as well as Martin Luther King Jr.'s assassinations. Here is Trump speaking about this.
As a first step toward restoring transparency and accountability to government, we will also reverse the overclassification of government documents, and in the coming days, we are going to make public remaining records relating to the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy, his brother Robert Kennedy, as well as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and other topics of great public interest. It's all going to be released, Uncle Sam.
It's just amazing to hear him speak about the transparency, and I think that's what really resonates with voters, with Americans. They want governments to be more transparent about what's going on, what's been done in the past. What can we expect from this?
Well, I completely agree. Sunlight is the best disinfectant, and this should be a bipartisan issue. I think both sides of the aisle should be welcoming this. It seems quite fitting that he would announce something about MLK on MLK Day here in America. And one other figure who's bound to be intrigued by how things unfold is Robert F. Kennedy, his mooted health secretary. So I think we can expect a lot of interesting things here. But even if the government narrative about what happened with these assassinations turns out to be true, well, great, that reinforces their credibility, which they could really do with rebuilding at the moment. Otherwise, the public does have a right to know what's really gone on here. And I think that was the key part of that passage, is that Trump said this is a great topic of interest to the public. We deserve to know. The public has a right to know. And I think he's doing exactly the right thing. The final thing to note is that this really enforces this idea of Trump the outsider, who's really coming in to knock down the walls of the state and share with the public as much as they can and possibly know.
Absolutely. And as you say, so much interest for RFK Jr. He's really going to be a game changer, I suspect, in the next 4 years. If he carries out a lot of what he intends to do with making America healthy again, that is no doubt going to save lives.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a really interesting one. It depends in which direction he wants to go. I think if you look at some aspects of his career, he's shown that he's had a demonstrable interest in things like carcinogenics, food additives, and whatever you find, there's kind of like more beef oil, seed oil kind of prospects that you have in the whole Make America Healthy Again movement. If he can pursue that kind of agenda and by the way, he still needs to be confirmed, and I think there's going to be a huge tussle over that one. But if he can get through with that, then it's going to be very interesting to see where he goes. The flip side to that is the vaccine stuff, which is where you get into slightly more knotty territory. And I think that's going to really drive a wedge between Republicans and Democrats. And I think that could be a particular area where the congressional hearings could get a bit spicy.
Yeah, we're going to have to watch this space. Now, Doge, what can we expect with the future of Doge, with the news out today that Vivek Ramaswamy, who was set to serve on Trump's Government Efficiency Commission, will no longer be part of it, as he potentially is going to run for governor of Ohio. A spokesperson for the commission said that Vivek Ramaswamy played a critical role in helping us create Doge, and he intends to run for elected office soon, which requires him to remain outside of Doge based on the structure that was announced. And we thank him immensely for his contributions over the last 2 months and expect him to play a vital role in making America great again. So we've got Elon leading it. Was this a surprise?
I don't think it was a huge surprise, actually, because I don't know if viewers would have been following this, but there was a huge debacle shortly after Christmas with Ramaswamy coming out to criticize the H-1B visa resistance. And in doing so, he managed to insult 3/4 of America, describing the culture as lazy and saying they need to pick up themselves with their bootstraps and learn from the likes of India and China. And I think this move is a very convenient excuse for Trump to basically say, we don't want you in DC anymore, move out west, go worry about your own thing. Because the one thing about Ramaswamy, he's very good at getting attention, but it's not always the kind of attention you want. And I don't think Trump was too keen on this. So I think this is a very convenient excuse to getting him out of DC.
Okay, well, looking at the events today, we saw Elon Musk, we saw Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, all witnessing Donald Trump becoming the 47th president of the United States. What do you make about the big influential people that Trump has around him?
Well, it's definitely a sign of the times that all these billionaires who were, or most of whom were formerly quite critical of the president, have now come to kiss the ring and are sort of dancing around in a circle around Trump. I do hope that Trump, and I suspect he will, maintain some degree of independence and agency away from these people. I'm intrigued to see how the Musk-Trump relationship in particular develops, but it does raise a little bit of suspicion when you see so many people conveniently change, switch all their principles, suddenly to come and line up behind the president and offer their support. It just makes me wonder just how fragile this coalition is and whether they can really be trusted going forward in the next 4 years.
Time will tell. I want to talk to you about crypto. President Trump took the $3.5 trillion cryptocurrency industry by surprise on Friday, announcing the launch of his own crypto token called TrumpCoin. And just in less than 24 hours, the value rose from a few cents to $33, representing a staggering price gain of over 18,000%. Now, the token has since come down, but it's still one of the top 30 cryptocurrencies in the world. And now we've got Melania. Also, her meme coin has been launched following Trump's new cryptocurrency. What do you make of this?
Well, it is definitely a strange one, and Trump definitely knows how to keep us guessing right up until his inauguration. I think launching a meme coin 2 days before you become president is definitely a new one. So he's definitely a norm breaker in that sense. But it's not the same kind of classic rug pull that we saw with the hot tour girl or something, where you just pump up the value of a coin only to take it away and strip it down and short sell it or whatever. I do think Trump is looking to make a bit of money here, but I don't think he's looking to rip off his followers by any stretch of the imagination either. He is all in on crypto, and I think it's a sign that he's really trying to promote the industry. And I know his sons have been really active in that world, and we still see Bitcoin has crossed that $100,000 fresh mark. It wants to be going even further, 110, 120, we'll have to see. But again, it's just a way to keep us guessing. And I don't know where it's going to end up next, but the meme coins, they did drop about 20% on the day of his actual inauguration. Whether that's going to pick back up, we'll have to see. But again, these are very funny times.
Aren't they indeed? And look, just finally, I want to get your thoughts on Trump's second presidency, because there's been a bit of talk about how this is going to be so different to his first term in office. What's your assessment on that?
Well, I think you can just look at the cast of characters he chooses to surround himself with. These are not establishment Republicans by any stretch. In fact, some of them aren't even Republicans, or used to not be. We had Tulsi Gabbard, we have Robert F. Kennedy. Now we have people like Elon Musk, who are also former Democrats. So I think this is a real, shot in the arm to Democrats to wake up and stop losing all this talent because they're all going to Trump. I think we're going to see a much more Trump-centric agenda. This is what he wants to do. He's not just trying to satisfy different parts of the Republican coalition. This isn't going to be 50 shades of conservatism. I think we're going to see a much more Trumpian agenda, and I'm very intrigued to see where it all pans out.
Newsroom editor at Unherd, James Billot, thank you so much for joining us on Power Hour. Great to talk to you.
Thank you.